Alrighty, Jordan. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
Alright, this is episode 4 now. Off-topic episodes for Two Planker. I'm sitting down with a good buddy of mine, Jordan Cooper. Yeah, buddy. How's it going?
Good. Starting the day off. Now it's snowing outside. Started sewing some hats and shipping those to Switzerland and Austria today, which is kind of crazy.
Hey, that's a sweet start to the morning. Alright, we just kind of have to backpedal a little bit here and just... These are two dudes that lived in vans, now in houses. We're in my house in Salt Lake. It's been a couple months. But, yeah, I mean, we're going to jump into Jordan's backstory just because he hasn't been on Two Planker yet, so we're going to dive deep into that. But Jordan lived in a van for quite a while. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But Jordan, really good skier. I just went through your Instagram this morning to try and, get the goods on you and stuff like that. And, yeah, you were East Coast park rat.
Yup.
So how'd you get into skiing, man?
Well, we have a small little hill 10 minutes away, Crotched Mountain, home to the Crotched Rocket. It's pretty much my favorite thing to tell people about the mountain because you got crotch and rocket in the same sentence. My parents put me on skis when I was 2, and every 2 years up until I was 12, I would swap from skiing to snowboarding.
Really?
So I did 2 years skiing, and then I'd do 2 years snowboarding, and then every now and then I'd mix it up. But yeah, it just kind of worked out really well to do 2 years on, 2 years off. And then when I was 12, like 5th grade, my whole friend group decided that they wanted to get into park skiing. And there was a bunch of people. Joe LaCourse was kind of the big guy that we all looked up to. If you're from the East Coast, you probably know Joe. And yeah, I bought a pair of park skis, and my parents said, if you're doing this, like, you're not swapping to snowboarding in 2 years. We can't do 2 setups all the time. It's too expensive. So yeah, I bought a pair of used skis from someone. They lasted me probably 10 or 20 days. And then I bought some Line Afterbangs.
The skateboard ones?
The skateboard ones, yeah. And I skied those. Those were a 144, and I skied those for like probably 2 years. And then, the next ski I bought was like a 167, so pretty big jump in size.
Did you just grow that much, or you were on some really short skis?
I grew in the first like 6 months. I grew a ton,
Gotcha.
And then I was just on short skis.
Gotcha.
Which, it kind of gave me some bad habits. This like spin to win mentality, because like short skis you can just whip around. So
yeah. Some of the videos on your very early Instagram, it was like front swap back 6, and it was just like a little Jordan, and I'm like, dang, that's actually pretty impressive spin. But I could definitely tell the skis were a little short. But
yeah, I definitely had some short skis, and then
you're the typical East Coast Dude, the clothing back then was it was like a lot of people had the same stuff, but like the era of kits and stuff, like we would have been friends.
Dude,
I was friends at 13, 14 years old.
I was wearing man, I think my favorite kit growing up was it was right when Vertica swapped from First Drop to Vertica.
Gotcha.
I got some gray and black, extra large, double extra large snow pants. I'm probably 5'6", 5'7". I have a Line orange and blue hoodie, team size. I had 28.5 full tilt booters that I got for like $150.
You're not an East Coast skier if you didn't start out with oversized boots that were used off eBay or some trade or New Schoolers Forum or something. Yeah,
I walked into Zimmerman Ski Shop, and they were just like sitting there with a bunch of other boots, and I'm like, I want full tilts.
Yeah.
Like all the good skiers have them. I bought them. I wear a 25.5, about to downsize to a 24.5, and like 3 to 4 times bigger than they needed to be, or 3 to 4 sizes bigger. And yeah, that's how I like got in, and just cranking the buckles down. Had shin bang so bad that I was in PE class in 7th grade, and someone in front of me was sitting down, and they tapped my shin, and I got lightheaded and dizzy because I was just like, my legs hurt so much. Yeah, they hurt so much from these boots. Super miserable experience. Full tilts are cool.
No, it's very, very similar story. Even with Derek, if you go back and listen to the last Derek's podcast, yeah, I was in, I think, first. Everybody had full tilts, so yeah, that's what I wanted. I think it was eBay, found a pair of one for $100, 29.5s, and I'm down to a 27.5 right now. Yeah,
it's like, kids, you gotta get boots that actually fit your foot. Stop just buying whatever you think is cool. It definitely pays to have boots that fit your foot.
I don't know, man. Full tilts back then were they were it.
Well, and now they're full tilts.
I just remember being jealous because Derek had the red Tom Wallishes with the shoelace.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man. I had these brick Solomons, like, hand-me-downs from my brother who was, like, a racer. And, like, so I was like, dude, I need full tilt.
I would scroll New Schoolers and eBay endlessly trying to find full tilt tongues to stick on my booters because I thought it would be super sweet. And I had a friend, Evan, who did that. And, and then eventually I started to, like, actually buy boots that fit a little bit better. But when you're young, you always want to buy something that you can, like, grow into almost. Yeah. And so, then I had...
I'm sure that's what our mindsets were.
Yeah, it's like, I was like 6th grade, men's 7.5 foot. And I was like, I'm going to be a size 9 to 10 when I'm older. And here I am, 24 years old with a men's 7.5 foot. It's like, I have shoes from when I was, like 15, 16 years old that...
So everything grew by your feet.
Yeah. Just like still wear them. Snow boots. It's crazy. 6 feet tall.
Damn. Well, we'll get back into it. East Coast, crotched. I saw that you've been to Loon, so you did some sort of traveling on the East Coast. Did you do any of the traveling around for the rail jams and stuff all over the East Coast? Yeah,
like I've never done a USASA. My family growing up did not have, just like a ton of money to just throw around for these comps.
The means or drives to just go to something.
It's like a USASA membership is $100, and you have to pay $85 to $100 per comp. And so I looked for all the little local rail jams. So I'd go to every single small hill that I knew that had a terrain park, and I would go to their event calendar, and I would go to my another copy of a calendar, and I would write all these comps, like March 16th, there's a comp at Attitash, and it's $20 to enter. It's super chill. And so I ended up starting to just go to only rail jams. I was never a big jumper. I broke my arm when I was 5 on a trampoline, and my parents never let me go on trampolines. Crotched Mountain was not known for having super sweet jumps. And so, rail jams were the thing. And so I'd go to all these local rail jams all over New England. So Loon, I think I did one at Loon, a couple at Attitash, Stowe. I've never done one at Sugarbush, but I always want to do the double rails and down kinks or whatever the heck. I don't know what their rail jam is. The one that
down rail and
down rail
double kinks,
something
like that.
Never done that, but I want to. But
I remember doing a Sugarbush sponsored rail jam event, but it wasn't at Sugarbush.
Yeah.
And then that was like the day after trying to do the loaded turkey to get into like one of the last years of Rails to Riches.
Yeah, I always wanted to do loaded turkey rail jam was like one that I always wanted to do. My senior year of high school, I was dating this girl, and she was in college, and I got talked out of going to the comp the next morning. I was supposed to wake up at like 5:30 in the morning, and that was kind of. Then I moved out west the next year, so it's kind of almost impossible to like get back east for these contests.
Yeah, because loaded turkey isn't a big one. It's just in your head as a kid when watching Rails to Riches or just hearing about it. You're like, oh, if I win this little rail jam that not many people are gonna go to,
Yeah.
I could get in for free, like a spot.
Yeah, like
And that was I remember sitting in college. I was a freshman, or no, I was second year of college, and I like dipped out of class early on a Friday to get there to like start the drive north to go to this rail jam, and it ended up dumping snow the whole time. I was going so slow. It was so hard to get speed.
Yeah.
I don't think I podiumed. I think it was, who did I met? Jesse. I met Jesse there. Shout out to him. He's still kicking it. I'm spacing on your last name, man, but
Paralini.
Yep.
Paralini.
Yeah.
And probably Brandon Westberg was probably there, and
I know.
but there's like, there was a time where there was like a rail jam every other weekend, like all over the East Coast. It was before the Epic Pass and the Icon Pass, and you could just fill your whole winter with these local comps.
Yeah.
I won a couple pairs of skis. I wish it was a big check, but I got like a little check once for like $100. I was like, holy crap, like this is the coolest thing.
Yeah. The cash rail jams.
Yeah.
Just like even my resort back in the day would have these, it would just be like a feature jam. Like they didn't close it off to the rest of the resort. There was no entry fee. So there technically wasn't a jam, but like the park crew would stand at one rail and be like, all right, start hitting this, and they would just give out cash to people, kind of just like traveling circus or some stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that was like I remember that when I was a kid, and I was just like, oh shit, I just got $20 for K-Fed.
Dude, yeah, Crotched Mountain, the new park manager, Trevor, he's pushing for like little pop-up jams like that all the time now.
Sick.
And so...
Because then you don't have to go through the whole insurance thing, Xing off the course, like, you just pop up, give people cash, you're in and out.
Yeah, and they like throw out like, you know, gloves or a pair of goggles or something for like the big tricks. And it's like, it's a cool way to get a bunch of people there to just like hang out and like session a rail.
Yeah.
Because out west, it's pretty rare that you just like go and hike a rail.
Yeah.
If I see someone hiking a rail at Woodward or Park City or Brighton, I'm like, damn, dude, you're from the East Coast. Or like, you could be from the Midwest, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. Or like, no goggles on, you're just like rocking helmet. Out west, you're gonna toast your eyes, but back east, like I didn't ski with goggles at all. No goggles, no poles. Now I'm out west and I'm skiing with both all the time.
Nice. Did you ever hear the rail jam back in the day, King of Jib?
No.
You never heard of that?
No.
Right,
where was that?
That was from my home resort.
Yeah.
It was our park manager at the time, Matt Stambaugh. Shout out to him because he's basically me and Derek's filmer growing up. He was a wedding photographer, so he had red cameras. So like we were shooting on reds when we were 15 years old. It was amazing. But he was just like he loved skiing and park skiing, and when he was park manager, I think Rails to Riches might have still been going on or starting to like fizzle out, but he got all these sponsorships together to come to Round Top, and it was called King of Jib. And it was just a rail contest. Sam Zahner was there. I think he might have...
sick.
Well, I don't know, he was doing Misty. We built this, like, crazy, like... It's like a triangle box with a cannon rail off the top of it. So it was just like this huge launch ramp. I just remember Zahner doing Misty 6 off it a million times. And there was just this insane bomb hole, East Coast bomb hole, in the landing. And he kept trying it. Everybody else was trying like every other rail, getting tricks on everything. And Zahner was just hucking himself Misty 6 off this thing. And I think everyone was just so mind blown that this kid just kept hiking up further and further every time, landing in the same bomb hole and blowing up. But it was so impressive.
Yeah, dude, the bomb hole. Like you have out west, you get bomb holes, but the snow's still soft. On the east, you get bomb holes with like ice chunks around it.
Yeah, it's like sugar and then it's ice chunks all lining the edges.
Super gnarly.
But I just remember that and just like, it was for $5,000. Like Matt somehow got enough sponsors. Red Bull would show up. I mean, not insane. Red Bull. What was it? Rockstar would show up with one of their vehicles, and like it was a big event. Like I remember competing and I don't think I ever made finals because there was just so many people from the Northeast coming down to little Pennsylvania for this one contest.
The minute you throw a big cash purse in, it's like everyone's coming. And so like Corinthia Classic started up the first year they did it. I went, my family was having a Christmas Eve party just like lined up that I was at Corinthia the same day that we were having this party at our house. My parents are like, yeah, the minute the competition's over, you need to come home to be here for this party. And and I carpooled with someone, and
they obviously weren't leaving.
Yeah, like we did qualifiers, and there were 2 heats, and I was in the first one, so I had to stick around to see if either of us made finals. Sure enough, somehow made finals, and it's like in the whole Corinthia Classic, it's like $20,000.
Yeah.
First place is $4,000, then probably like $1,000, and then like $500.
Gotcha.
And yeah, they said my name for finals, and I was like, I called my mom, and I was like, Mom, like, I don't really know what's happening, but like, I somehow got to finals. I'm not coming back for this party. I'll be back at some point.
I'm sorry.
And yeah, it was like pretty much super big apology. Did not podium for sure. Like Mac Forehand won.
Gotcha.
And Bobby
Damn.
Sullivan and
Bobby.
I think Justine DL from Montreal, Quebec area.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, there's like big name riders in this. Ryan Stevenson was in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was the first? That was Corinthia Classic.
Yeah, it's like it was.
That was when Rouse the Riches went away.
Yeah, this was 2018. I was a freshman. I think I was a freshman in college, and yeah, it was like I was just surrounded by all these like people I like looked up to like my whole like life.
Young Mac.
And then yeah, I'm just like looking around and feeling like an oddball out. Yeah, it's super.
That messes with your mind mentally, dude. Going to a contest like that.
But like, I mean, like skill wise, like I was like nowhere near these people.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I was probably, I think there's 10 or 12 of us in finals, and I was probably the 10th or 12th place getting in. But
so that's got to feel good.
Yeah, it was super exciting. I was like, I felt like I was shitting a brick a little bit. So I was just like, oh my god, like freaking out. Yeah, 18
Anything
years
can
old.
happen.
But yeah, and still some rail jams, but
Dang, but when did you move out west? Let's get back, because we're gonna get back into contests with you. So let's get back into like you were at Crotchet, East Coast, traveling, doing the rail jam circuits.
And then public high school in New Hampshire. And I was applying to all these colleges. I was dating that girl, and she wanted me to stay on the East Coast. I wanted to move out west, kind of button heads a little bit. And I applied ED to Dartmouth, got denied, and was like actually kind of stoked that I got denied, because early decision, if you get in, you have to go.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, I got denied, and then Colorado College sent me an email on my birthday. I had just turned 18 at that point, and I was in the Vans shoe store at the Pheasant Lane Mall with that girl, and got the email, looked at it, they accepted me, and they sent me like my financial aid package, and again, like my family, like paying for college out of pocket is like not really an option. Colorado College is $75,000 a year to go to.
CU?
No, it's like it's a very unknown school. It's
down in Denver?
It's in Colorado Springs.
All right.
It's about 2,200 students, give or take, private school. If you know it, like when I tell people and they know the school, they're all like, oh, like that's a really good school.
Gotcha.
But if you don't know it, everyone's like, oh, like, yeah, community college is a great option for people.
Gotcha.
I'm like, dude, I don't think you understand, like, there's like a very almost elitist attitude for people at the school.
Gotcha.
Like the grandson of CNN goes there. Just like super powerful figures in the U.S. Yeah, and I was on probably 95% financial aid and like outside scholarships to go there. And yeah, my girlfriend at the time was not super stoked, but I the next day said that I was going to go there, and like I guess like announced to the world that I'm going to the school, and moved out there in August, and yeah, started this like weird education. You take one class at a time for 3.5 weeks. Super unique, really fast paced. But for me,
every day for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 5 days a week, 18 days of class. You learn an entire semester's worth of material. Every single student on campus goes to school from 9 a.m. to noon. And then in the afternoons, every single student is either doing homework, like extracurriculars, adjuncts, so it's cool that pretty much all the time, like it's really hard to miss seeing someone or like seeing a friend because you're all in class at the same time.
Gotcha. Yeah,
There's no like weird opposite schedules. A couple classes like astronomy, you're in class from I think 9 p.m. to midnight or like 10 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
There's like some weird classes like that, but yeah, pretty much everyone's in class the same amount of time. But at the same time, one day of class is a full week's worth of material.
That's crazy.
And so, yeah, you have
if it's boring, dude, that class, oh my God.
Yeah, so it's like a blessing or a curse. If you're in a class that you love, you're like stoked to go every single day. Yeah. It's awesome. But what was your least favorite class that you had? Oh, dude, like I took. Well, COVID kind of hit in the middle of it, so that kind of made things a little bit weird.
Crazy.
But I was a applied math major, gotcha. And you're just taking these grueling math classes with concepts that are impossible to comprehend, and you have one day to digest that information. Or else you show up to class the next day and you're behind. And like the school and the class, they like no one waits for you. You have to like go to office hours. So yeah, I had some classes where I'd wake up, I'd go eat my breakfast, 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. Or actually 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. because I refuse to do work after 8 p.m. To have some sort of life. But yeah, you just go to class for 3 hours, you eat your lunch for an hour, and then spend 7 hours in the afternoon just doing homework.
Gotcha. Damn.
And it's pretty brutal. But
how long did that last?
Well, thankfully those classes only last 3.5 weeks.
Gotcha.
But
COVID kind of interrupted that though.
Yeah, COVID was like in the middle, and I was living in Breckenridge at my friend's house. They're fortunate enough to have a second home there.
How far is Colorado Springs to Summit like that?
It's 2.5 hours to go ski.
Do you still go up like the I-70 to get there?
You can go. There's a back road.
Gotcha.
Called 24.
We'll bleep that out.
Is it what?
I said we'll bleep that out.
What? A back road?
We don't want anybody knowing about this.
Yeah, no, it's like not even like it's not even a secret. It's like this road is sick. There's almost never a cop on it. Nice. And if you're feeling it, I know people, I'm not going to name names, but who've done the drive in an hour and a half. Nice. And instead of 2.5 hours, because it's like they're just long flat roads until you hit the mountains.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, I think you take 2 turns or 3 turns on the entire trip. Gotcha. It's 200 miles round trip, which is super cool. But yeah, it's the school preaches that it's super close to skiing and super accessible. And then you're there 5 days a week and 2.5 hours away. So you get out at noon, you could drive up after class and ski for an hour. But yeah. I don't think anyone really wants to drive 5 hours round trip to ski for an hour. So there's a couple people who did it, but it's pretty brutal. But yeah, during COVID, I just lived in Breckenridge, took classes remote, and that sucked. It was awful. Like
forcing yourself in front of a computer type of thing.
Yeah,
just being in Breckenridge.
Yeah, like I'm living in this beautiful house on a mountain overlooking the whole like the 10-mile range, and I have to sit myself down for 3 hours on a computer to learn some crazy concept that you can't comprehend without and you're like learning through a screen.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
And your textbook is online. It's just like super miserable. So there's a lot of days where I would leave my computer on for the last 30 minutes of class and just stick all my ski stuff on and go ski. Because no, I don't know. It's pretty awful. It was like awful.
No, so dude, I totally feel you on that.
Yeah, it was like, I was just like, screw this. Like, I want to go ski. I'm living in Breckenridge. I can go ski 15-minute drive to the hill, and had like my secret spots to park on the mountain where ski in, ski out from your car, and it's awesome.
Nice. How long did you spend? How much time did you spend at Summit?
I was there
around that COVID.
During COVID, I was there from October until May. And then I lived in my van. I had a converted van at this point, and I lived in the van in California for the summer.
The van that's out front, you had it that time?
Gotcha. Yeah, I got that.
So you've had it for a while.
Yeah, so I bought, when COVID hit 2020, it was like July 1st or something, or maybe July 10th, bought the van.
Did we know each other when you bought the van?
No, like I like social, like through social media, I knew who you were, but and I knew you were living in the RV.
It's probably that summer or something.
Yeah, I think it was that winter that we met officially.
Gotcha.
'Cause it was right around like the syndicate shoot in March.
Gotcha. Jeez, my memory.
Maybe it was, or maybe even January, but yeah, that was kind of the first time that I spent a lot of time in Salt Lake. I'd come for like a week for spring break, but I'd never spent like 2 or 3 weeks here. But yeah, having a converted van and taking classes online, I kind of finessed my schedule so I didn't have to go to class for 3.5 weeks and just got to ski for a while and tried to call my parents a lot to drop out of school, and they never bit. Yeah, they were not stoked on that. So yeah, I guess one way or another made it through college, and now I have a degree I will probably never use. But at least I didn't have to pay $300.
But at least you got that, and you have the van. I have the van. I don't have the degree.
Yeah. So everyone told me an applied math degree would be super useful, and I'm sure if you want to be a professor and do research, it's super useful. But if you don't have that, it's probably not super useful, in my opinion. So
we can just segue perfectly into the van, baby.
Yeah.
You still have it? It's a Dodge?
Yup. 2016 Ram ProMaster low roof. It's currently on the market right now. If you're listening to this and you want to buy it, $32,000. I will drive the van to you anywhere in the country. It is in great shape.
Yep.
Has a new transmission, and so I had the van all through college, and I'm 6 feet tall. It is a low roof. It is 5'4", depending on where you're standing in the van. Sometimes at like 5'3" to maybe 5'5", but that's a good day if it's 5'5". And so yeah, I'm
you're doing a great job selling this van.
I'm kind of scrunched in there. No, but if you are a female listening to this and you want to get into van life and you are under 5'5", this thing will feel like a mansion. It was the perfect van for me to buy at the time. It was affordable. Gas mileage on it is not terrible for moving your entire home around, and overall, like, pretty reliable vehicle. But yeah, I graduated from college, and
so you weren't full time at that point living in the van.
I was living in a house in college,
using it to go to Summit County.
Yeah, it was my daily driver. I would drive it to Summit County I would drive it there on like a Friday, and then I got myself a job up there.
Gotcha.
At a restaurant, and I was just like hosting at this restaurant, Sancho's, great tacos and churros, and I lived in the van, like outside of my friend's apartment, or just like in the overflow parking lot at Breck over the course of the weekend. So I'd make money, I'd ski all day, and then I'd go to work at 4, work all night, wake up, go ski all day, and then go to work at night, and just kind of have to figure out how to, like, time to do homework in there. But it was pretty manageable. I would try to do all my homework during the weekdays, or like before class, or I don't know, just kind of figure it out. Yeah. But yeah, it was nice, like having a job up there. It paid for all my gas, because driving up to Summit County is half a tank of gas, and at the time with gas prices, it was like $40 round trip to drive to Summit.
Gotcha.
And that's, yeah, when you're in college, it's like $40 is a lot of money. $40 is still a lot of money, but I was super stoked to have this job, and they were super flexible with my schedule. I was just like a host at the restaurant, and
Nice.
they didn't have
A real
anyone who
host.
wanted to host.
Gotcha.
So it was kind of just fell in my lap. I was on the chairlift, and they asked, my friend who was working there asked me if I wanted a job to come in to host. And I was like, yeah, I've never worked at a restaurant before, but sure. And so I showed up, not even on payroll, worked all night, got tipped out, and then just had to record my hours for the first week or so until until I was on payroll. And yeah, I guess
Ski bombing it.
yeah, a lot of trust there.
Nice, dude.
But yeah, if you're like, my motto is, if you're upfront with someone about like where you're living and what you're doing and timeline,
Yeah.
like 9 out of 10 times they're gonna be pretty chill.
Yeah.
And you can kind of figure out some sort of agreement.
Some sort of organized. That's what someone told me when I was kind of like getting into the van thing and just like talking about ski bums and stuff like that. Just like, dude, if you can be an organized ski bum,
Yeah.
it's gonna go a long way.
Yeah, like if you are just like honest and organized, you can get
Just
so
like, yeah,
far.
I'm not gonna be around here for very long, but I'm gonna let you know like
Yeah.
ahead of time. I'm not gonna just dip out. I'm not gonna quit. Like, I'm gonna work hard.
Yup, exactly. And like so I graduated from college and I did exactly that. I moved into the van full time, drove back east, and my friends were all working for one of my friend's dads, doing like property management, landscape stuff. And I told him, from this day until the end of July, on this day, I will work every single day for you, like every hour that you ask. And he's like, cool, man, sounds great. And so I worked for him for 7 weeks, living in the van in this park by Sugarbush, showered in the river,
Nice.
and like would go to the gym after work and stuff. But yeah, like he didn't care I lived in the van. I showed up every day 10 minutes early, and he still every now and then will talk, and he's like, yeah, if you ever need a job for 3 weeks,
Goes a long way.
let me know. And so yeah, it's cool. Like I never feel like I'm gonna be without work, because I've built like enough relationships with enough people that I can always kind of return for like a week or so if I need to.
Definitely.
But hopefully I don't have to ever do that.
Definitely. So how long were you full time in the van then?
I was full time in the van for about,
Because you were east that summer, and then you came back out and did a winter.
yeah, so I was from, I guess, first week of June 2022 until September 15th, 2023. So just under a year and a half, living in the van. Like, I guess my heater in my van broke during the coldest week in Colorado. And it was pretty miserable. So
Just a nice life test.
I had 1 week, 1 week out west where I was sleeping on my friend's couch every night because the glow plug in my diesel heater crapped the bed, and I was just like waiting for the part to come. In Summit County, Colorado, it takes forever to get anything delivered. It's such a pain in the butt, and there's like very limited resources. So I had to ship it from Walmart. The actual Walmart didn't have it. Yeah, it took about 10 days. So yeah, super thankful that I like had a spot to crash.
Nice.
It was right around Christmas time, and I was working close to 60 hours a week, just trying to make as much money as I could. Because I was super motivated to have enough money to live and still travel. So yeah, working between a restaurant and doing like 13-hour days, working mornings and into the afternoon at a ski shop, and then immediately leave there, walk over to this restaurant and start working. It's just like,
Nice, dude.
didn't even change my clothes.
Well, it's crazy
Yeah.
if you do a grind, like living in a van, not having rent. All you have really is like your simple bills, like phone, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then just gas and food. So it's just like if you grind for a month or two, it's crazy how far that can take you. And
Yeah, I was making, what I considered to be a crap ton of money, like more money than I ever have up until now in a short period of time. And then halfway through January, I stopped working there. That was like the agreement at both places. I came back to Utah and didn't really have a job for about 8 months. I had some 1 to 3 week work stints,
Gotcha.
kind of odd jobs, and the amount of money that I made for the like from those jobs let me travel all over the country. It was crazy. Took 9 flights in 2 months. I flew to California for a judging thing that we can get into at some point, and then flew from there to New Hampshire, then back to Colorado, to Michigan, back to Colorado, worked there for a week, immediately drove to Salt Lake, and then hopped on a flight to Hawaii for 2 weeks. And in that 2 months, my like expenses were never, I mean, maybe like $400 more than it was costing me to live in the van, like someplace, because I just didn't have to pay rent and
no utilities,
and I just had like all these connections all over the place for places to stay. And so, when you're living in a vehicle, like the ability to travel is, it's as good as it will ever be. It's like, and it makes sense, but also like, if you have a good chunk of change saved up, life is pretty stress-free.
Well, it's like, it didn't really hit me until I started like going home for Christmas, and then I have a flight to go meet up with Owen and Tyler and them and go hit street, where it's just like, I can drive my house to the airport, pay airport parking, it's there, I just fly somewhere, whatever Airbnb we're doing or whatnot, and then when the trip's over, I fly back to my house. I can do red-eye flights, land, go straight to the RV in the parking lot, sleep, not even leave the airport yet, wake up, make breakfast, and then leave airport parking, and it's like, on to the next, like, now where am I going? Back up to Summit County? Or
the amount of nights that I've spent sleeping in like the airport overflow lot is crazy. I just like wake up in the morning looking so gnarly, and then I go and I take a poor man's shower, as I say, and you get like a washcloth wet and put some soap on it and scrub your armpits and maybe like wash your face a little bit, brush your teeth, and then just like slap a beanie on and go to the airport and pretend that you fit into society. It's like, I totally just came from a super nice hotel down the street. I was not sleeping in my car in the parking lot.
But it's crazy having the van and whatnot. We were talking the other day, you haven't been to Spring Pass.
I've never been to Mount Hood Spring Pass. If you're listening to this right now, you will see me at Mount Hood this year. If you don't, like, something is severely wrong with me physically or mentally. I in my imaginary calendar, I have it booked out.
Part of me hopes you don't sell the van until after Spring Pass.
I
mean,
it's possible.
You're looking at another vehicle though, which is sweet.
I'll be the proud owner of a Toyota Tacoma soon, so I just have to find myself a girlfriend and an Australian Shepherd, and I will totally fit the bill for owning a Tacoma.
That segues into our next thing. Me and Jordan both had foot injuries that led to paying rent.
And honestly, after living in a vehicle, I totally understand why you pay rent. Like, when I was living in college, I was like on this super structured lifestyle, and it sucked, and I hated being there, and I just wanted to leave all the time. I lived in the van, and I gave up all these luxuries like having a shower and a toilet, and I just like made do with everything. But then I tore a bunch of stuff in my ankle, and it was about a 2 to 3 month recovery, and I quickly realized, like, I was spending a lot of time. I mean, even while living in a van, you spend a lot of time at your homies' houses, but I really quickly realized like how much you need a house when you're hurt, or just like, I don't know. It's like having
the space.
The space. Like living in a van and not being able to walk or move around. No one wants to sit in their vehicle all day, and no one wants to go to the climbing gym
Well, it's like
and
one thing
sit
if
there.
you're down south. Like, if you're
Yeah.
up here where it's cold, then it's like, damn, I do not want to be outside at all. But, like,
Yeah.
if you drove south to Texas, like, you could easily leave your van door open, and
No, totally.
it wouldn't be ideal situation.
But even here, it was like 100 degrees every single day.
It was the summertime?
And, yeah, it was in the summer. It was in, I did it in June. And that's another little story. But, yeah, I did it in June. It's like 100 degrees. I was loving my life. I was biking all the time. Derek got me into biking. And then I went from having a super sick job to having a torn ankle that the PT people were like, yeah, it would have, like, breaking it would have just been a smoother recovery than tearing it. And now I've got all this scar tissue built up. And I couldn't do anything. It was 100 degrees. I couldn't do anything. You're living in a van with no air conditioning. You just need to be inside of a house. And so I did some traveling back east and to Montana when I was like kind of recovered. And after that, I just decided to start paying rent. And the first week, I was like, holy crap, like I have a door, I have a bed frame with a headboard, I have like my own space, I've got a window that opens and closes, I've got heat and air conditioning.
It's just there. It's
like,
never getting towed.
Yeah.
No one's ever breaking into it.
There's just
it's
like
just there.
It's in a safe neighborhood. It's so easy to get everywhere. I have a shower and a bathroom. I can wake up in the middle of the night and go take a shit. When I was living in the van, if I woke up at midnight and I needed to go to the bathroom, like I'm shit out of luck. Like there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Thankfully, you have your spots that have porta potties and other like things like that going on. But yeah,
there's a nature shit, just like standing on the side of your van,
I'm
your ass out the door.
I'm living in Salt Lake City at that point. Like
True,
I can't just like drop trow on the side of, like outside of someone's house because I'm sleeping in residential neighborhoods, and you can't just like you can't just take your pants off and take a dump. So yeah, if you're living in a van and you're starting to hate your life a little bit, paying rent, not that bad. You can totally find a place that's not too expensive. And it's kind of wild. Like my savings living in a house now, like I spend maybe $200 or $300 more for everything living in a house than I was living in my van because I'm not driving 10 miles to the gym just to drive 10 miles back because I needed to take a shower before going on an attempt of a date or something like that. And so like, yeah, you just like have everything in one spot. When I was living in the van, I was filling up my tank at least once a week, if not like, 3 times every 2 weeks. And now I'm filling it up once every 2 weeks, and
it's almost like the money that you're using towards rent. You kind of have to put on the back burner for like investing back into your car for how much you use it.
Totally,
type of a thing.
And so now I'm living in a house, and I just have this van that I'm using as my daily driver. I want to sell it. I'm just putting miles on it for no reason. So yeah, I'm excited to get rid of it. But also pretty sad, and I don't know, I got a lot of mixed feelings about it. But yeah, if I have the van for Spring Pass,
that would be sweet.
Yeah, having the van for Spring Pass would be dope. But also, maybe by then I'll have some sort of
setup,
like truck camper setup. That is kind of the goal, to build something out for that.
Yeah, that'd be really sweet. Yeah, but so you're not completely getting rid of the van life. It's just not.
It's just
not
like,
full time anymore. For
sure.
It's
just on the back burner, and like with what I am doing for work now, I can't fit my studio into a vehicle. It's like I would have to have an RV like yours.
Well, you got 2 cool jobs right now, so we can get in. We can get into the first one, the one that it's. I mean, your second one is an awesome thing. That's like, you're killing it with that.
Yeah.
The first one though is related to why we're here, which is skiing.
Yup.
Which is sweet because I was just at X Games and talked to Jason Aarons a little bit, and he brought you up and
getting
into judging.
Yeah, judging freestyle ski competitions, which is like a really cool. If you're into skiing and you want to stay involved in the ski industry without putting your body on the line every single day, judging is one of the best opportunities to do that. It's a pretty hated profession. Like, I don't know, you go on New Schoolers and there's like a
everybody
contest.
has something
It's
to
like,
say.
yeah, everyone has something to say
about
about it. There's like, you know, like there's always like there's these recaps and it's always the judges made some questionable decisions. It's like, dude, we are doing one of the hardest jobs. Like, without us being there, there is no competition. There has to be a judge. It has to happen. And you're doing a competition. There has to be set rules and guidelines, or else it's just a free for all. And there's no like structure to how the results of a competition play out. And so, yeah, it's pretty interesting how I got into that. Jason Aarons hit me up and was like, dude, I know you're living in a van. You should come to this clinic, learn how to judge. And I try to stay somewhat up to date with all the competitions. When you're living in a vehicle, it's like I don't have a TV or anything to like watch all of the competitions on, but I see all the recaps. And yeah, so I went to the clinic, and that was October 2022. And then I judged USCSA, like the collegiate nationals, and Mammoth, and then I did USASA nationals at Copper. And it's sick. They pay for everything. Your flight or gas is paid for. Leaving your van or your vehicle, my van, at the airport is paid for. They give you a food per diem every single day. They put you up in super sick lodging at the base of all of these resorts. And then they also pay you a wage on top of that. And you just get to spend your day watching the best skiers in their respective like events ski.
Especially when it's USA, it's the kids coming up.
Yeah, it's like I'm watching all these kids come up through the competition circuits, and USASA typically needs judges. The Rocky Mountain Series in Colorado needs judges, and so I drive back to Colorado for those. And then I just did Rev Tour at Copper as well. And yeah, you're just watching like the future of skiing come up. And like, as Jason always puts it, the judges are there to help push the sport in the direction that the athletes want it to go. It's not what the judges want, it's what the athletes tell the judges that they want. And I think that's like kind of misunderstood by a lot of people. I think
that makes a lot of sense if you look back at the knuckle huck that just went down to X Games.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to one of Jason's podcasts, Good Enough podcast. It's really awesome. I love the guys that talk on there are super well known and just like old head skiers, so they've been around forever. And they were talking about how like Jesper, some of the other guys were doing like some of the most creative shit you've ever seen on a knuckle, but because 6 out of the 8 guys were doing nosebud dubs, it turned into nosebud dubs.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, we had to score it because 6 of the 8 were doing it, so that's what the athletes were telling was going down that night.
Yeah, exactly. And X Games is like a pretty unique one because it's not governed by FIS, but for Rev Tours,
that's a FIS one.
It's a FIS event, and so there are just like there's a criteria. There's five criteria that we have to. There's 5 criteria that we have to like abide by and remove all biases and just like objectively score these runs, whether you know the athlete or not. And so yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like, it'd be super sick to do an X Games one day because there's a lot more freedom for the judges, but also it's cool judging these competitions where you can look at 2 runs that are super similar and go through the criteria and be like, this run has to win,
Gotcha.
regardless of what my opinion on this trick is, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, judging is crazy cool. It's like
think about the past couple podcasts I've listened to the Good Enough. It makes me. I think I need to talk to Jason.
Yeah,
it sounds sick.
They need judges. There's like a lot of the judges right now are like
older guys,
40s, 40 plus years old, and they need a lot of new young guys to come in and start filling those new roles. Because like the 55-year-old judges aren't going to be judging forever. A lot of them have families and other obligations in life, and when you're young, you have like a lot more freedom and flexibility. And again, like you don't have to put your body on the line. You get to go watch these people do super sick tricks, and like unfortunately,
you're surrounded by
you're like the energy, like you're kind of like living vicariously through all of these other competitors who are pushing themselves. And
but it's just like if you got into doing the X Games, then you'd be surrounded by guys that that are your age, that are just like, yo, like, and it's sweet to.
Yeah, the whole atmosphere is really, really cool. And you meet like a lot of the people behind the scenes who you wouldn't otherwise get to meet, and they're super nice people, and you just, I don't know, get to talk about skiing all day. It's really cool. You get to nerd out for a little bit. So, and it's like a full week of your life that you don't actually have any expenses for.
That's sweet. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Dang, maybe I'll have to talk to you after this about that. But you have this other new job.
Yeah. That's
freaking killing it, dude.
Yeah, it's taken off.
FRN.
So in August, I'll like backtrack a little bit. In August, I went to Montana to remodel a house for some high school teachers of mine. And in one of the boxes was a sewing machine that's probably been used like 5 times.
Wow.
They didn't really have any use for it. And they told me that if I wanted to take the sewing machine, I could. And then like when I see them next, I'll return it and I'll use it for the projects that I need. And so I did that. I came back to Utah. I made some cushion covers with it. I had no idea what I was doing. And and then the sewing machine kind of sat for about a month and a half. And then I moved into this house and I made 2 hats that like, I was just like, oh, like I need something to do with my free time. I should do this. So I made 2 hats.
Derek, you don't gotta tiptoe.
Derek's just tiptoeing around here, snooping.
Derek came to grab something. He's in his Gucci shoes.
Oh, Gucci shoes? Oh my god. He's got the green and red snake on the shoe.
See you later, Derek.
So, that's funny. So I made 2 hats. Like they're just like a cinch style hat. I made mine reversible. I knew there was a market for them, and I was just like, oh, like this is cool. They were kind of a fun personal project. I posted them on my Instagram story, and that weekend I sold 25. And I definitely had like a bunch of people call me out and be like, you're not the first person to do this. And I'm like, dude, I'm fully aware of that. But like if my half-assed marketing strategy for this product that I'm making is like really putting a dent in the market for these other companies who make hats and fleece beanies, whatever, it's like they're probably doing something wrong where they're not actually capturing the full market. And so that weekend sold 25. The next weekend I branched away from just Instagram, and I had a small TikTok following from van life, and I posted on that, had a video blow up, had another 30 people. I had to close off orders because I was super stressed. I was working as a paraprofessional at an elementary school at the time. And the first 2 weeks I made more money selling hats and sewing than I was working this full-time job at a school. And then eventually, it just like kept going. And the first 100 orders were all through my Instagram DMs. I had a spreadsheet. I put everyone's information in manually. I was keeping track. I had no idea what I was doing. And eventually it got to the point where I built a little website just to like manage things better, and I started doing like a more drop style.
So you were definitely talking to Derek around this time.
Yeah, I was talking to Derek a lot about this. Because Derek is running
Syndicate and Insignia.
Yeah, and I've watched everything that he's been doing with those, and so it was like I already had this like perfect person to talk to.
Yep.
And one of my past employers, who I'm super good friends with their family now, they kind of gave me access to their like secretary. Gotcha. And so I just call her whenever I also have like super like legal questions. Gotcha. And so I had like all of these resources that I never really thought that I would like talk to them about business stuff. And yeah, now to date it's been about 4.5, coming up on 5 months, I think. I've sold like almost 600 hats. I'm shipping international now. I have 8 hats going to Switzerland, 3 to Austria. I've shipped to Norway, Germany, Austria, France, a bunch to Canada.
That's so sweet, dude. Because like, it's a fleece beanie. Like, yeah, they can get it anywhere.
It's like such a simple product, but I guess like I make mine reversible. There's no raw seams. You can kind of be like one way that you wear it. It can be like a super loud, obnoxious fabric on top, or you can flip it around and that's now the cuff, and it's like a little bit more subtle. They convert into neck gaiters. It's like it's truly a simple product, and I never thought that this would be my full-time job, but
you're killing it.
But yeah, FRN is now like my little brainchild baby, and it just like totally exploded in my face.
Paying the bills.
Yeah, it's paying a lot more than just the bills, and so. Yeah, the joke is with this truck that I'm going to get a vanity plate that says FRN Bucks. But I haven't fully committed to the bit yet, but I might. And I'll know in a week if I'm going to do it or not. I think it'd be kind of fun to do. But yeah, like just over 5 months ago, I barely knew how to sew. YouTube was my best friend. And now I'm sitting here recording this podcast and have a stock or like a pile of like 40 hats that I have to make like over the course of the weekend. And I pretty much sell out of everything, give or take like 1 or 2 hats every single weekend, and just get hit up about all these custom hats all the time. And
nice, dude.
Yeah, it's wild. But I also make these puffy pants now. I upcycle sleeping bags into large baggy puffy pants. And social media has just taken it and run. Yeah, TikTok.
I guess Instagram too, yeah.
Instagram is now the one that's running.
Nice.
But yeah, like had 2 videos about these puffy pants blow up. Between the 2 videos and Instagram and TikTok, almost, 800,000, 900,000 views between all of them. It's like, I just get all these. I'm getting hit up about sponsorships, and let me tell you right now, when I was 15 and I was sending these emails, I thought I was doing everything right. I was like this company is gonna see some value in me, and like it's gonna be sick. And now as a business owner, I'm like, oh my gosh, another email from a kid asking for a sponsorship because they're the big deal in their town, which is sweet. And eventually, I would love to
put some people on.
Yeah, put some people on. But it is crazy getting hit. Like I read through all these emails and
it'd be cool the way you started out, because like from your presence in skiing, you have a following through your Instagram. Yeah. But then when you did your TikTok for FRN, it had nothing to do with skiing. I mean, it was your original account, right?
Yeah.
So like some of the followers were from skiing and you doing van stuff.
Yeah.
But like the algorithm and stuff, like with you just flipping it over to FRN and being hats, it's crazy how like yeah, you were getting crazy views on some of these, and it was like, it had nothing to do with, it was like complete outside of the market of skiing.
Yeah, totally. It was never the goal or intention to sew full time or like be posting about this on social media or anything. After the first weekend, I was like, dang, like maybe I can pay my rent with this. I just wanted to pay for fabric. I just wanted to like pay for fabric and use sewing as like a fun little thing on the side. And then I got enough orders where I was like, dang, maybe I can pay my rent with this, still work my other job full time. And then the week that I really figured out that this is something I could do, it was, and it like is timeline wise, the week before Christmas, you're going to have kind of a spike. Yeah. But I sold 70 hats that week. And that, if you do the math, it's not that hard. 70 hats is more money in 1 week than I make in 4 weeks working at this school, 30 to 35 hours a week. And so, yeah, I was like, dang, like this could totally be it. And then,
because I remember you started like taking days off working at the school.
Yeah, I went from working 5 days at the school to working 4 to eventually working 3 and having to constantly text the principal and just be like, hey, like I literally cannot come in right now. I have like X, Y, and Z number of hats and I just like, I cannot get myself to come to the school. I just like couldn't really justify it. But again, like I had a commitment to the school until winter break, and I kind of like would reiterate that to the principal. Like I am going to be here until the end of winter break. I just need I need like an extra day a week to sew.
Gotcha.
And spend my entire day sewing. And it's crazy, like when you start a business, and like before, the only thing I cared about was skiing. Mm-hmm. It was like all I wanted to do every single day was ski. If you asked me 7 months ago what my winter was going to be, it was like work some odd job, ski 5 days a week, have a bunch of fun. And then now I'm doing FRN, and my mentality is like totally shifted. I still ski a bunch, and I'm still having a bunch of fun skiing, but I really care about trying to build this thing up to a point where like, you know, like I never have to apply for another job again.
We'll give it a year and you can go back to skiing.
Yeah, or like keep going, or figure out a way where it can like almost like obviously sewing you have to consuming. It like takes time, but I'm considering hiring someone right now, which is wild. That like I was just talking to this kid. He's a senior in high school. He's friends with one of my other friends, and I was like, dude, how much are you making at your other job? He's like, yeah, $14 an hour. And I'm like, bro, if you want a job working for me one day, like I'll pay you way more than $14 an hour, because he knows how to sew. He's super detail oriented, and yeah, it's crazy just sitting here being like, yeah, I can, as like a 4.5 month deep business owner, I could pay someone to work for me, you know, probably 10 to 20 hours a week, and still have plenty of money going into the FRN bank account, which is not yet set up, and also into my bank account to pay for my bills and other things. So yeah, I guess like, I don't know, if you like want to do something, you should just kind of do it. And I know Derek and his podcast talked about it, but yeah, if you ever have like business questions, like shoot me a DM on Instagram. Like I check all my DMs pretty much every single day. Like I'm getting flooded right now, which is kind of crazy, but yeah, I'll reply and like actually put effort into the conversation and help you try to figure out, like, if you want to learn how to sew, who are some good resources for that. If you want to get into like woodworking or like remodeling homes, like other good ways to get into that. I don't know, like I've done a bunch of weird jobs, and it's cool to just like talk to people and nerd out about the things that you care about, because I also don't want to just talk to the 55-year-old grandmas at Joann Fabric every single day about this. It's pretty cool talking to like younger people. But, sometimes you just got to text Stacy and just ask her some sewing questions.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, hopefully
That's funny, man.
I guess, maybe in a year we'll check back in and see how.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's like a year and it's
No,
gonna be
no,
done. I'm just saying like a year at this growth, like you could fully pay some people to make hats and just
totally
be marketing and go skiing.
And like, I have the friend whose secretary I have access to. He's always trying to get me to manufacture these like someplace.
Gotcha.
It would probably be super cheap, but also I think what's kind of cool and fun is
the person who's sewing it.
Yeah, like the person you're supporting. It's not getting outsourced to like people getting paid pennies on the dollar to make this thing. And every single week I release new colors and like try to keep things fresh. And like colors come back for sure, but every single week I drop a certain number of hats that is feasible for me to like complete, but also go ski and have fun and keep things fresh for myself. Because making 40 of the exact same hat in like a 1 or 2 day period is pretty miserable. I'm listening to music and podcasts all day, not interacting with anyone, sitting in my basement. But when I have new hat colorways that I drop and like new sleeping bag pants that I'm making, it's so much more enjoyable. And if I outsource, there's a minimum order quantity for everything, give or take.
Yeah, and we talked about that with Derek.
And like if you're running a business and you have a minimum order quantity of 200 of a product that you don't know if you're going to be able to sell all 200, having inventory sit on your shelves is one of the worst things that you can do for a business. And Sovereign, Zach Fife, Z Fife on Instagram, Sovereign69. I talk to him all the time about it, and I've listened to his Two Planker podcast, and he talks about that as well. Like, for a business, like you don't want to just have stuff sit on the shelf. You paid money for that, and you want to see like the return come back to you. And also, there is something really fun and unique about sitting down and making something new for yourself and like learning the process and yelling at your sewing machine for a little bit. And if you're just like outsourcing it, you don't have the opportunity to be as unique as you want or like as creative.
There's like another level of connection to it all.
Yeah, and so it's like cool. Yesterday I was skiing at Alta, and my friend who has one of my hats, I saw him in the lift line, and he told me that while he was driving to Alta in traffic, sitting there with a car next to him, he like they rolled their window down and they started talking, and like the guy in the other car knew like Fern and like knew the hat and was super stoked, and I don't know if they had a hat, but I get sent photos all the time of people all over the country now in my hats, like spotted in public. And I get DMs from people like, oh yeah, when are you dropping this hat again? Someone came into the gas station that I work at in the middle of nowhere, Nevada, and saw the hat and is super stoked on it. And now I'm getting a DM from them about when they can get this new, like get the hat again. And it's like, holy crap, like what? Like I had never thought that was going to happen. So yeah, accidental business.
I kind of get it because right before you started Fern, I was on a ski trip. Cody Potter, the hat I'm wearing right now is just a fleece hat, and just the print he had, I thought it was so sick. I bought it off him. I've bought a second one off of him now because I'm just like, dang, like I really love the print. So it's just like one of those things where I totally get that, where someone sees something they like, and I remember messaging him for months trying to get him to like, do you have more of that material? Like, let me know. And it like. The being able to go on a website and not instantly just like, oh, it's there, so I can wait till tomorrow and then wait the next day, oh, it's still there. I get that. I honestly really get that.
Yeah, like their needs.
I'm like, oh, there's a drop, they're all sold out, you're gonna have to wait, or like I can make you one.
Yeah, there needs to be like a demand to it almost. Like I will drop. I have like some camo ones that I sell. And, like there's other people selling camo ones. If you want to go buy their camo one, cool. Like do your thing, spend your money where you want. But yeah, I make these camo ones, and they sold out in probably around the first hour. I think that day I sold 45 hats, and that's the most money I've ever made in one single day, like in my life. I was like looking at my Shopify, and I was like, holy crap, like I'm set. Like this is awesome. And then I was like, holy crap, I have to go make 45 hats now. And so the reality sets in a little bit. But yeah, I got a DM at probably like 10:30 in the morning, and someone was like, you had this hat, you dropped this hat, like any chance you have more that you can make, like, and again, like I drop a certain amount of hats based off of the amount of time it takes me to make all of those hats, where I can like still have a normal life and enjoy my life. And yeah, they're like, it took an hour. The hat was gone, and I was just like, dude, like you have to wait. Like I can't do this. Like I can't just make you. I just can't make every single person the exact hat that they want at that exact time
when they want it. Yeah.
Or else I'm never gonna have free time for my entire life. And I think people are pretty understanding of that. But the biggest draw for like, you know, owning your own business, you get to make your own schedule. And so during the middle of the day, I can like stop working, come record a podcast, go ski for 2 hours, 3 hours, and then I can come home, make myself dinner. And then if I want to work from 7 p.m. to midnight, I can work and make that happen. Or, you know, tomorrow my plan is to sew for 10 hours. It's just like sit down and just sew all day. I've got everything lined up to make, and like I can do that, and then I can have the rest of the weekend or like next week off. But there's definitely like a lot of behind the scenes stuff that happens. Figuring out, I don't know how to do taxes.
Yeah.
I have a lot.
You talked to Derek about that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Derek and I have talked a lot about taxes. I've got an accountant back east that I will talk to for an hour to try to figure out, like, dude, like, is the IRS going to come for me? Like, am I going to get a knock at my door and like the SWAT team's going to pull me out of my house for not paying taxes? Thankfully, I'm not making enough money where, well, I guess not thankfully, but I'm just not making enough money where I think that's a worry. But yeah, like I want to do everything by the books and be like very legit. But that takes a lot of time to learn.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing.
It'll all come when the time is right.
Yeah, it's cool though. And it's cool like connecting with like the ski community and stuff, and it's like
because some of the reposts I've seen, it's just like Bobby Broccoli wearing the hat. Like it's sick to see. Yeah, like so like you still can bring it back to your roots.
And I'm like, I think maybe anyone who's owned a business probably feels similar, but when I sell a product to someone, I'm like, are they buying that product because they love it and want that product, or like did they just buy it because they wanted to support me, but they're never going to wear it? And it's cool. It's so sick seeing like Bobby Sullivan back east skis in my hat every single day without fail. And I texted him about it, and I was like, damn, dude, like it's awesome seeing you wear it. He's like, it's my favorite hat. It's the only hat I wear skiing now. And Carly Margulies, Olympic halfpipe skier, she wears my hat as the neck gaiter every single day that she goes skiing. And like, I'm like, holy crap, like it's like sick when you see people who I like consider to be very legit athletes wearing my hat. I will never say wear my hat instead of a helmet, but if you're not going to wear a helmet, you should probably wear my hat. So yeah, definitely a big fan of the helmets, but if you want to wear a helmet, you can just open the hat up into a neck gaiter and now you can still wear it. Little advertisement there. But
that was awesome.
Yeah, like I don't know, in Aspen, I've sent a couple hats to Aspen, and someone that I went to college with who had just moved to Aspen sent me a photo of their friend posing in front of someone who had no idea this was happening, wearing my hat. And I have a photo of my friend standing in front of someone else that I know who's wearing my hat. They have no idea who each other are, and the guy with the hat doesn't even know that the photo was taken.
Gotcha.
But there's my hat just like on someone's head, and it makes me feel super good when I like actually see people wearing the product, because I don't want to be like like I don't want people to support me out of like pity or
Yeah.
or like a charity event.
I don't think that's happening.
But
at all.
yeah, but it's like it's just like a cool feeling when you see someone like actually using what you make, because yeah, like most of the time I don't see it. I don't know, 500 people around the world now have a FRN hat, and it's just like, holy crap, dude, like, what the heck is happening? I've got repeat
sick.
customers, like someone's bought 4 hats 4 separate times.
Damn.
I'm like, damn, that feels good. that's like holy crap, man, like people are coming back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
That's awesome, man.
yeah, we'll see.
Things are going up for Jordan Cooper.
Yup.
Fern's going, judging's going.
Yup, the boys are up.
Yeah.
Everyone's up.
Yeah.
And the girls. The girls are up, boys are up. Everyone is up right now. Especially in Salt Lake.
2023 going into 2024, dude.
Yup.
It's been sweet.
Yeah. I'm like, when I graduated from college, I never thought that I would be like working for myself. I thought I was going to be sitting at a desk using my math degree.
You never know where life's going to take you
Yeah.
unless you let it.
Yep. So here we are. Keep doing your thing.
Sick,
Pretty
dude.
fucking sick, dude.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, dude. This is a great podcast. We're at fucking an hour and 23 minutes. I mean, we had 5 minutes of bullshitting at the beginning.
Yeah. Talking about Costco. We never talked
Oh,
about
we never
that
talked.
either,
Wow.
but it's maybe
Your go-to meal.
Yeah. If you're living in a vehicle, go to Costco, the food court. You can pretty much sneak in without a membership. The CPD, calories per dollar, is through the roof. You're getting a hot dog, you're getting 580 to like 840
Huge hot dog.
calories for $1.50, $1.63 with tax.
With a soda.
With the soda, like you can get a mug root beer, you can get Mountain Dew, like you can get anything. Slice of pizza, 730 calories, and it's $2. It's like $6 for your entire caloric intake is like pretty hard to beat. So yeah, highly recommend the Costco food court. Anyone can kind of sneak in there. Sometimes they ask for a membership. You just tell them you're going to meet your mom in there, and it's like no one's gonna ask.
Damn.
It's pretty sweet. If you also want, you can also get like your little appetizers, get the free samples walking around the store before you go to the food court, and then you just walk out empty-handed. Go to the food court, get your hot dog, scarf your hot dog down, and you just walk out the front door just like with your drink in your hand. And the employees get it. They know what's going on. If you go to...
That might be the best ending of the podcast.
A little shout out to the dog. There's one employee I want to give a shout out to. His name is Zhang, Z-A-N-G, and that is the hardest working Costco food court employee I have ever seen in my entire life. That place, 5:30 p.m. on a Thursday or a Friday. Everyone's at Costco. Everyone wants a hot dog. And he is just pumping food out like no one else. That's the 300 West location in Salt Lake City. Largest Costco in the world. So,
shout out to Zhang.
yeah, Zhang is the dog. Yeah, owns that. He owns that 235,000 square foot facility. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Jordan. This was an awesome podcast.
Yeah.
This is a great listen. Great backstory. Getting into some more businesses again. But yeah, just, follow on your passions, and you never know where it'll lead.
Yeah, and like you also just like might not know that what you're doing is going to be your passion.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think that was going to happen at all, but I just kind of like kept going with it. And it's cool, yeah, like when you just like keep rolling with the punches and see what happens.
An open mind and some discipline.
Yeah, I was super unemployed before I started working at the school and selling, and now I'm super employed by myself. So yeah, a pleasure. And Ethan, thank you for running 2 Planker. It's awesome. Stoked to be on it.
Let's go.
Yo.